Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our annual Men's Health Summit. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Frederica Williams of Whittier Street Health Center. It's a pleasure to have all of you. This is the 19th year of us hosting this event. The focus of Whittier Street Health Center is to address the health issues and the mortality issues that are impacting our communities. So we look at diseases, but we also look at population issues. I'm a mother of 3 sons, so men's health is something that's near and dear to me. But also when we look at the population and we look at the life expectancy of men, we could not be this asset in a community and not focus on it. So we have a wonderful event for you, and we try to choose topics that we know are important to our community, because our focus every single day is to educate, empower, and engage our patients and our community so that they can live healthy lives. You would hear that your health is your best wealth. If you don't have good health, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, you're nothing. So that's what we're trying to do. And one of the things that we've also done, I've been the CEO, I'm in my 18th year now, is this wonderful organization was founded in 1933 as a well baby clinic at a time when 1 in 10 black babies died before the age of 1. So we were focused on infant mortality, and 86 years later, we have remained true to our mission. We have not been the flavor of the month. We have remained true to our mission, and we've evolved to this organization that now serves close to 30,000 people from 20 different countries. We're a multicultural organization. When I emigrated to Boston in 1984, the Boston of 2019 is a very different Boston. We're a majority-minority city, and what we need to do is to be empowered with good health, and to be empowered to have a voice and to be advocates. So we continue to be advocates for the community, for all of you, and especially our men. We understand that in our community, access to health care is critical, but there are social issues that impact our health. We see it every day. This building is beautiful, but we have a wonderful team of people that are out in the community every single day, whether it's on Millennia Cast Boulevard, Dudley Street, all over the community, because you need to meet people where they are. There are issues that impact us, such as housing. Gentrification is a major issue that's impacting Roxbury. Food, so we have a food pantry. Nutrition, jobs. The pride that we take is not only to be a healthcare and social services provider, but to also create jobs. 70% of our employees are from this community. And our goal under my leadership is to make sure that when people come to the organization, they move through the ranks. So that's why when you look at our mission statement, we talk about addressing health disparities, but we also talk about addressing social inequities, economic inequities, those things that impact your health. If you cannot afford a healthy meal, we can talk to you about your diabetes all we want. It's not going to happen. If you cannot afford medication, we can talk to you about your mental health all you want. It's not going to happen. So we understand that we have to remove those barriers. If you can't get to the health center because of transportation issues, we can have the best doctors and nurses in the world, and it's still not going to happen. So we understand that we can't just be here and say we have this majestic building, and we love this building, but we have to be in the community. We have to have the staff that have the cultural competency, that have the empathy, that have a desire. This is not a job. This is a life mission, a mission that we all have to take care of. So again, selfishly, as a mother of 3 sons, whom I have to remind even though they are adults now, I still have to schedule their physicals, but also as a woman who every male, including my dad, who had access to a lot, died before the age of 70. So life expectancy for men is a major life mission for me, to make sure that our men, and I see it, whether it's gender stoicism, whether it's not dealing with the issues, we want to make sure that we move the gap. He's a former Whittier patient. He's a 2018 Whittier Men's Health Champion. He is my friend, and we're blessed to have him here.
Black don't crack, but the cracking's on the inside. I'm currently working on a book about mental health in the Black community. I'm excited to one day that allowed experimentation, abuse, and neglect. I will restate the impact of being undereducated and over-incarcerated, profiled and pushed out, falsely accused and misrepresented in the film and in the media, often overlooked for jobs and training, unfairly compensated, and too often the first fire. I'll touch on the often third rail that is racism in Boston, that relegated many families to poverty and traumatized generations of men and women. I will make the case that no people could have endured what people of African descent in this country and in the islands had to endure and not crack on the inside. Mr. Cofield, over 6 million men in America suffer from depression or some form of mental health issue every single year, often going undiagnosed and untreated with lasting consequences on themselves and those around them. For us, that's the drive-by shooting, the dropout rates, the suspension and expulsions, the chronic unemployment, the broken families and relationships, the divorce, the cycles of physical and emotional abuse, the homelessness, and as Frederica talked about earlier, the unbridled anger. These are also the untreated low and severe mental health disorders that we refuse to see. I often reference the little boy from the movie Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis and the classic line from that movie where he says, "I see dead people." I typically use that phrase to reference how we, like the young boy Cole Sear in the film, wanted to pretend we didn't see racism, just cover up our heads and ignore the truth, because acknowledging the existence of those dead people would require that we do something to help them. I would extend that to this challenge of mental health in our communities. As Councilor Gareth Saunders knows, who is here, stand in Dudley Square for a day. Hang out on Mass Ave at the entrance to 93 for a day. Join me on a visit to the Suffolk County Jail or any correctional facility in the Commonwealth. Walk through Mission Hill or Lenox Street housing projects even today. Visit the Veterans Shelter on Court Street downtown or the McKinley School and spend a day with our kids at that school. And then you tell me whether you see dead people, or more accurately, whether you see people hurting and in need of our support and the right services and care. I'm asking you to address this issue of mental health in the Black community and work with Frederica and Whittier Street Health Center, the Massachusetts League of Community Health Centers, and the thousands of community health centers across this country that understand that change starts with you. Thank you.
Dr. Wright, who will help me facilitate the panel discussion. Thank you.
I'm Stephen Wright. I'm one of the providers in adult medicine. I've been part of this fantastic mission and organization for going on 7 years now, and I have had the great pleasure of being a member of the Men's Health Clinic. Mr. Edwards has done a fantastic job at directing the clinic under the navigation of Ms. Williams. We've been able to tackle many health issues that are important to men and the community. And right now, we'd like to talk about, we have this expert panel, we'd like to talk about something that is often overlooked, something that's not quite as obvious as someone with a fractured leg who's limping, or someone who has a wound that's bleeding. It's the mental health issue that we have that's so prevalent among our men. As Ms. Williams mentioned, it affects up to 70% of men, behavioral health issues. So we have our expert panel. They're going to help us dig through some of these questions that we might have. So getting started here, perhaps we can just go around and perhaps you could tell us what do you think is, why it's important to discuss mental health for men. We can start with Mr. Fennell.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today and to say God is great. And that, you know, I have struggled a long time. They keep changing the names of the things that I'm struggling with. You know, say disorder, or substance abuse, mental health, all of that. I'm proud to say that I did not give up. I began to talk about things with people. People began to help me, so I've been diagnosed at the VA for having PTSD, but I didn't let it stop me. I realized that with help, keeping it out there, talking about it, praying on it, that I could be a symbol for people to resist other alternatives, such as just using drugs forever. Always thinking that using was all I needed, and I found out different.
Use this mic, don't use this mic.
Today, you know, to say that there is a way. Frederica for giving us this opportunity to come here and speak about the demons and how we deal with them. Do I need to say some more?
No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Fennell. So let's go around. Let's go to some of our other experts here. Dr. Ubiem, can you tell us a bit why it's so important to discuss men's health issues?
It's good to see a full house on a Saturday, all this rain, and I see a lot of, people of color differently. When you look at mental health, and you look at all these diagnoses, all these big names, right? PTSD, depression, bipolar, all this stuff. If you break it down to actually the symptoms itself, that's when you start understanding what it means. When you sit down and then you're feeling this, you're feeling sad, right? You're feeling lonely, you're feeling hopeless, and you're feeling helpless. And that's when it gets to the point where someone will actually go down to a bridge and want to jump off. That's when you should start talking to somebody, honestly. I will go more into details there. I will tell you an experience that I had with a client a couple of days ago. She was mandated to come for that probation, right? To come and see me. And a couple of days ago was like the fourth session we were having. And all this while she just came and just chat and said, and then finally a couple of weeks she was like, I'm really beginning to enjoy this. Now I can sit down and talk to somebody, who's not a family member and tell them all about myself without being judged. And I can totally get this off my chest and tell you exactly how I feel. I've been bugging all this while. It's like, really? So yeah. But that's okay. So this is basically telling you that there's nothing wrong with sitting down with somebody, especially men, especially black men, especially brown men. I'm talking to somebody, talking to an expert to deal with all these issues. Some of these issues are actually biological based. That means there's some few chemicals in the brain that have been, I call it scratched, a little bit scrambled. If you see someone in the behavioral health, who can help you, we can help you basically identify those issues, give them a label, give them a name, but then if there's a need for medications to help you fix those little imbalances in the brain so you can function normally again like every member of society. That's what we need to talk about in mental health. Thank you.
Right. So certainly once we are able to diagnose someone or identify someone with behavioral health issues, it may be a bit easier to help them. But in your opinion, Ms. Pajarillo, what are some of the barriers to men getting help? What are some of the barriers to men even finding out if they have any behavioral health issues that you found?
Coming in, but these are all things that were addressed earlier. The number one thing here is stigma. Stigma. You are not crazy if you're coming in to talk to us. You're not bipolar. That's a new noun or a verb that describes people, this adjective these days. Oh, you're so bipolar. Come in and you need to see someone. We're here to help you realize you're not a diagnosis. You're not a diagnosis, you're a person. You are a person. We get to know you. And that for a lot of people is the barrier. They're not ready to have someone with undivided attention to them and someone who's going to listen and someone who's not going to judge. And getting to know us, that's the first step. Access. We talked about earlier, we've heard access and just not knowing how to get care. In the behavioral health department, we tried to really eliminate that barrier by having walk-ins. You don't need a referral from a doctor. Even though Dr. Wright would gladly do a referral for you, Dr. Wright's actually literally walked people downstairs to introduce them to us. You just have to show up, and we take it from there. If you don't have insurance, we help you get insurance. And, out there people say, oh, they don't care, I call, I have a problem, and they say, see us, there's a wait list in 6 months. We have eliminated that wait list. It's please walk in the door. I can answer this question of the barriers to men as a professional, but I also have men in my life, and I know the barriers that they don't want to be judged. It's that idea that I am weak if I'm talking to somebody. And I see men shaking their head in here. I also see the women shaking their head in here. And it's the idea that, how can we help men get access to care? Let them know about us. Let them know. Ask them to walk in the door. Ask them, tell them that you're concerned about them. Tell them that you're worried about them. Most of the women I see are actually in my office concerned and depressed and anxious about the men in their life, their young children, their husband, fathers, brothers. So, your health, men in this room, your health affects your entire family.
One thing that we talk about in the Men's Health Clinic, I have the fortune of being able to join the Men's Clinic twice a month or thereabouts. We talk about how is it men just don't come in, not just for behavioral health issues, but for if they have diabetes, if they have high blood pressure, why don't they come in and get checked? And one thing we talk about is from an early age, boys are taught not to complain. They're taught not to show any weakness. I mean, I see it in my grandchildren. My grandson will fall and hurt himself and start to cry, and even I catch myself saying, oh, just brush it off, it's okay. But when my 5-year-old granddaughter falls, oh my goodness, I'm all over her, and I can't give her enough attention. And that type of behavior follows the people, the young boys, through adulthood. And so when you're an adult and you have an issue, you don't go in to get checked. You don't find out what it is you have, and oftentimes you refuse treatment. So just out of curiosity, I'll throw it out to the panel. What do you do when you have a patient who has a behavioral health issue, a mental health issue, whatever it may be? You identify it, but they refuse treatment. How do you handle that? I'll throw that out there to the panel. Anyone wants to jump in?
Well, I think that that's something that, we struggle with here. like you said, we struggle with it, we have a no-show rate, we talk about no-show rates all the time. The thing is, we welcome you back. We understand, we recognize the cultural impact of coming in for behavioral health treatment. We understand, we're culturally aware. We understand you also have a life out there, and it's hard to get here when you're taking the bus and the train, and sometimes you're just like, forget it, I'm not going to show up today. We don't close cases here. You know, in some traditional models, after 3 months, if you don't show or if you miss 2 appointments, we'll never take you back. That doesn't happen here. We welcome you with open arms. And again, in the 14 years I've been here, there are people that we meet. We plant the seed, we introduce ourselves. We may not see them again for another 6 months, even though they've had 5 appointments in between. But they're always happy that they can come back and that someone remembers them, or that they're not punished for being late, you know, or missing an appointment. I think that's very important for a community health center, and especially a mental health, a behavioral health department to do, is welcome people back and work with the resistance, because it is real.
I want to say that my work with families, kids, it's not enough for me to make an assessment, so I can write a note and I can be a part of a team with an expanded solution-driven strategy to identify what those needs are. Because, you know, it's easy to get trapped, speaking for myself, into the problems of that person. And I think that my being effective requires me to share the information with the team that has more knowledge and more professional experience, because there's levels of strategies involved when you're trying to heal people that have all these anxieties and these traumatic experiences that they consider normal. For instance, if a kid out of Roxbury sees a yellow and black tape, that kid will associate that yellow and black tape with crime. A kid in another neighborhood, such as Brookline, will see a yellow and black tape and will not associate it with crime, will not associate it with police investigation, will not associate it with a homicide. And they will internalize, the kids from Roxbury, this as a normal experience, and will go to school maybe a little late, and the teacher will say, "Why are you late?" And the child will not talk about that experience with the teacher. So what we have here, based on my experience, is the need to not be so quick to do an analysis without looking at everything that is involved in a continuing situation. We hear blue lights, sirens, and see blue lights. We think that's normal, and it's not. And it affects our behavior and how we think and how we hold on to these things that we think are normal until it becomes so great, until you begin to have these episodes of behavioral disorder.
Let me just add some few points just to what was said earlier. We know some of the barriers and some of the challenges that people are facing in accessing healthcare system. And we as Wright Street Health Center actually take into account some of these social determinants of health. Because, you know, mental health is one problem. Lack of food is a problem. Lack of transportation is a problem, right? If you have all these things going on in your life, and then you're telling someone to come in for mental health, they're thinking about how am I going to get it in the hospital, right? So we have programs to alleviate those and alleviate all those problems. So we try to give transportation assistance, you know, charity cards to people to make into their appointments. We have the wellness department has this $2. If you have $2 every other Tuesday, right? We actually bring in food into this health center right in front of this hall. And with $2 you can actually get a package that has potatoes, onions, bread, and everything you can think of that can actually help you survive for a couple of days, right? But also, we try to accommodate people who come in late for appointments because we know how difficult it is for just people making the efforts to even make it in. We try not to just, tell you to go home without even seeing you. And then we have some other programs to make it easier for people to get into, let's say, substance abuse programs, for example. We have early support in recovery, yeah, that actually, people come in there for a couple of weeks, 3-4 sessions, you do initial assessment, and then from there we can assign you into substance abuse programs, or also into behavioral health services as well too. So basically what I'm just saying, in addition to what Haywood is saying, is that we know the population that we have. We are right across from the police station here. We know that sometimes the probation officers are, and parole officers are moving around and trying to get people, but we made it as a policy not to allow anybody to be picked up in and around here. So that people can come in here and feel safe and free to accept services and also live without being apprehended.